What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Michelle, and we are talking about Outlander episode 7, Sticks and Stones. And I'm just going to start the podcast off with this. Please, 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 let this be the absolute last episode that we have to see Lionel Brown, because now that Claire has confessed what she has been doing and that she has been seeing him, I don't need to see him anymore, because when I say overkill in this episode, oh my God, it was like, I feel like, you know how we used to say with season 2 that we could do a drinking game off how many times Prince Bonnie Charlie says, mark me. I think we could do it with Lionel Brown in this season. Like, I'm so sick of seeing him. And I know he's just a manifestation of Claire's guilty thoughts and, you know, all the unsurety she has, but I'm so sick of seeing that dude. The actor is great as the character, but I'm so sick of him at this point.
Every time I saw him, I thought about you. Like, okay, hopefully this will be it. Hopefully this will be it.
Overkill. Oh my God, there was so much of him in this episode. But when Claire finally tells Jamie about seeing him and about all the fears that she has about her changing things and whether she caused this and she caused that, I felt like, and even she said it, and I said this earlier, I didn't feel like this was Claire, you know, with the whole ether and everything. And she says, I've turned into somebody I don't recognize. I'm so glad she voiced it. And I hope this is the absolute last time we have to deal with Lionel Brown, because.
And I think it is. I think after the last episode and all that has happened, and if she wasn't on, you know, the ether, she would have helped, you know, her in some type of way. But now she realized, okay, I need to, you know, talk about what's going on with myself and kind of start healing here.
Right. And I think the thing about it is she finally decided to put the ether away after Lizzie's confession about, hey, I was the one knocking on the door. And I thought about it when I rewatched this episode, because when Claire could hear the knocking was on that heavy front door in the main house. Malva was coming around towards the surgery, so it couldn't have been her doing the knocking.
Right.
Because she was coming through the surgery door, not, you know, the door that's in that little walkway that's in between the main house and the surgery. So I was like, oh, it had to have been somebody else. And then we find out it's Lizzie, and that kind of clears Claire's mind, because she
really thought that she actually did something.
That she had actually killed Malva while she was under the influence of the ether. So I was like, okay, can we please leave the ether alone now?
Yeah.
I hope that,
because when you're struggling to figure out if you actually killed someone, but you don't really know, because let's just say you were high or out of it, that's a problem.
That's a major problem.
And that you need other people's help that was around that time to figure out, oh my gosh, I didn't do it, because I could have done it. I don't know.
So I hope this is the end of the ether. I hope this is the end of Lionel Brown. I'm so sick of that storyline and that little component. I felt like it, I mean, I guess I understand it. It kind of plays into the whole thing about Malva's murder, because Claire was incapacitated. So she wouldn't have heard anything. She wouldn't have been paying attention. I understand that. But again, I felt like that. I've always felt like that was never who Claire was, and that she would not resort to something like that, especially all the other stuff that Claire has been through. I mean, I realized that this was a direct result of the gang rape. So I understand that part, but still, I feel like for what we've been presented with as Claire's character over the last 6 seasons, it just didn't fit with her. You know?
And since she said that, that's telling us that she really was going through something, that she just totally was out of character and couldn't get herself together.
Right.
And then sometimes that will help explain even other people, when sometimes we're hard on people, like, why did you do that? And why you do it this way? Why you do it that way? Why are you drinking? Why are you on drugs? And sometimes it's like, yeah, that's not my character, but
sometimes the trauma is so great
that
that you don't. your regular ways of coping with it don't work.
Doesn't work.
I said, I understand, because I think that was probably the most traumatic thing Claire has ever experienced.
Yes.
Even with everything else that she has gone through in the last 6 seasons. But again, I just felt like it was starting to be too much. And now I'm glad that she has released all of that, shared that pain with Jamie. And I love the fact that he referenced Wentworth when she did it. And he was like, when I was in Wentworth, I was in a dark place and you came into my mind and into my soul to help me. Let me be that for you. So now that I feel like she has shared that with him, she can start moving on. She can start processing all of that trauma, and she can let it go, or at least heal somewhat from it, and have some support while doing it, and not trying to do it by herself. Because that's the thing that is part of Claire's character. Claire's going to try, she's going to try to handle it herself. You know, she's going to try to figure out a way where she, especially with everything they've been going through in the last few episodes, you know, she feels like she caused a lot of the bad stuff that's happened because of the fact that she came back in time, not once, but twice. And then she felt like that was her fault. So she was going to take that on. But now you have help, Claire. You have a completely, fully supportive husband in a way nobody else has in that time.
Right.
So
a great support system.
Let him share that burden with you so that you can heal, so that we don't have to see that Ethan and Lana Brown again.
Oh, not anymore. And then I just thought about it when you were saying all the things that she has gone through, and she has gone through a lot. Has she really processed those things, or she just went on to continue on, and then the next thing happened, and like this right here was just the final domino?
I think you might be right, because if you think about it, even from the very first episode, first of all, you went back in time 200 years. You narrowly avoid getting shot. Then you're kind of sort of kidnapped. Then you're forced to marry somebody that you don't love in order to be safe, because you've, you know, been assaulted by this British officer, and the whole thing with Black Jack Randall, him almost raping her, him actually raping Jamie, the fighting, her losing faith, her having to leave Jamie when she's pregnant again, her having to go back to a marriage that she was no longer invested in.
Keep going.
It's just
it's a lot.
After thing, having to sleep with the king in order to get Jamie out of prison, and she's gone through a lot. And yeah, now that I think about it, she does, like, for the most part, she processes things really quickly, but she marches on. So it's just like, yeah, at some point
it's gonna sit you down, and you're gonna have to.
Right. It's just a culmination of everything.
And that's why she keeps bringing up, if I didn't travel back, if I didn't do this, if I didn't do that. It's just everything is accumulating, and it's just stacking up on her. So but finally this should be it.
Yeah,
because you realize this didn't help you.
He was like, if you didn't come back, or if you didn't come to this time, these things wouldn't have happened. He was like, Bree wouldn't exist. You know, she wouldn't have come back in time and found us. I would have never had a relationship with my child. Roger wouldn't have a wife and son. If you weren't here, we wouldn't have gone to France. And if we wouldn't have gone to France, we wouldn't have found Fergus. And then Fergus wouldn't have found Marsley. So there's a lot of good that comes out of what Claire has done. But I mean, what is it? You take the good, you take the bad. You
take the bad.
Right. So like I said, I hope that she can now start to heal, although she does have this new trauma that she has to deal with, because everyone's thinking that she killed Malva out of jealousy or spite.
Right. And but at least she knows she didn't do it.
Right.
That clears your conscience. You didn't do it. Or you could have helped her though, but you didn't do it at least.
Yeah. But who knows? Because at this point, we don't know who killed Malva. So if Claire had gone out there to help her, Claire may have ended up dead too.
That's
And
true.
then I'm telling you, everybody on that ridge would be dead. Because Jamie, no. And this is the other thing about the Fisher folk and all the rumors and them speculating. And, we start out the episode with Malva being in the meeting place, kind of confessing her transgressions and the fact that she is now with child out of wedlock. And in that little confession that we saw before the opening montage, she never named who it was.
Mm-mm.
But if you listen to it and just take Jamie out of the equation, because of course we know Jamie ain't sleeping with
Didn't do
her.
it. Mm-hmm.
She could have been talking about anybody. She was
Anybody.
talking about how the person was someone that she trusted and how they took advantage of her and just all the things that she was discussing. I mean, they're, putting the camera on different people in the meeting place while she's giving this confession. But, we talked in the last episode about our speculation, like, could it have been her father? Could it have been her brother? It could have been one of those weird things because, of course, that happens in a lot of things. But looking at their faces and the way that they were reacting, she could have easily been talking about Alan. She could have easily have been talking about her father. Because think about it, we hear this in real life all the time. You have the overly religious zealot of a father who, has all of these rules and everything towards their children. Then it turns out that they are the ones who've been abusing their children. We see it all the time in the news.
All the time.
So it could have easily have been Tom Christie, or it could have been Alan Christie, or it could have been one of the other Fisher folk. We don't know. It was somebody that she
Because it's somebody that she trusted. So then it's not Ian, because he wouldn't have done that. Like if she said no, or I don't want to do this, he would immediately stop, make sure she's okay.
And Jamie too.
Right.
Jamie too. So it was just, I just don't understand. Even with the Fisher folk who are new to the ridge, but at this point, I mean, when Malva was killed, she was almost due. So the Fisher folk have been there for at least a year, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been around enough to know how Jamie Fraser is about his wife. I'm sure you've heard the rumors about what happened when the Browns came to Fraser's Ridge and took her.
Correct.
Because y'all got Mr. and Mrs. Bug right there on the ridge. They the biggest gossips.
They talking, they telling all the business.
So they had to say something. So y'all know if Jamie Fraser went to war over this woman, you really think he gonna let that little young girl turn his head? No, y'all ain't been paying attention. So I think that's the thing that frustrates me with this storyline. And I know this is how it was in the books, and I understand how ignorant people are. It still frustrates me because it's like, if you look at the way that they interact with each other, Jamie don't look at nobody else.
Right. And you would also, in my mind, I'll think, are you sure that you didn't fool with another young man and y'all came up with this because he couldn't provide for you? But
that's what I said, remember?
That Jamie could provide. Yeah, I don't think that she could come up with this because she's maybe did it with another married man that they don't have any money. But Jamie's gonna, his honor. So he's gonna take care of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where he's like, make sure she's buried, her and the baby is buried here.
Right. That they have a proper burial.
Right.
And even when everybody is coming to him, accusing him, the only person that he is actually like adamantly denied it to is Tom and Alan, because that's her family. When everybody else has been coming to the ridge, when Hiram Christie showed up and Obadiah Henderson showed up, he never denied anything. He never spoke against her to people. That's the type of person that he is. Jamie is honor above anything. So he's not going to sit there and like just, talk her down, especially while she's not there to defend herself, even though he knows that they are wrong, because he knows that he didn't do anything. But that's the kind of person that he is. So I just tell you, couldn't be me. And even Claire admits, she was like, look, she was like, I know I didn't kill Malva, but what if I wanted to? Like, does that make me a bad person? Like, I have this darkness in me. What if I wanted to protect us? And I'm
Ma'am,
like,
you okay? No, that's
yeah.
not a.
I mean,
As
that's
long as you didn't do it, you can have the thoughts. As long as you didn't do it,
right. Right. Because it would be understandable to have those thoughts. Like, this little bitch
right?
came in
She's
trying
causing
to
a lot of
tear apart my
problems.
family.
Yeah,
And yeah. But
but
even
causing a
notice,
lot of problems.
right. But even notice, even with Claire, when they asked her, when Tom asked her, well, what will we say about her at her funeral? And Claire was like, that she had this light in front of her, inside of her. She said all of these very nice things. This is a woman who literally came in and tried to tear apart your family. And you still try to do right by her, because you knew that what she was saying wasn't true, and that she
And somebody
obviously
was.
had to have been coached, or someone had to have been
Mm-hmm.
forcing that from her. And unfortunately, like you said, I feel like it was either her father or her brother, but Tom Christie doesn't strike me as that conniving type. Like, he is one of those very rigid, straight by the book type of people. I feel like it has to be Alan. If
It
not,
has to be.
for the whole um fornication, he might be the father of her child thing, which again, like we talked off camera last week, and you were talking about how he was with the baby's coffin. It's
Yes, it was.
it's
It
very
was
suspect.
funny.
It's
It
very
is. It
suspect.
really is.
But
So
even if he's not the father, he knows who it is, and
he
I
does.
feel like he would have tried to protect his sister by saying, okay, this is what you need to do to make sure that you're taken care of. You need to do this, and you need to do that, and you need to make sure that it's Jamie Fraser, because he owns all the land that y'all are on. So he got money, or he's well off, he can take care of you. So I really feel like Alan was kind of pulling those strings, if not for the reasons that we think, him being the father of the child, which that's a whole other thing to unpack entirely. But I feel like he was really trying to look out for his sister.
Yeah.
At the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But
his behavior at the funeral was strange. I'm sorry. So we know that Dad is not involved. So I do apologize for having him fall off a horse and no one goes and help Mr. Christie. I do apologize for that.
Yeah, because you had
He
him
still was
falling off
wrong.
of a
He
horse.
still was wrong in some of the things he did. Instead, maybe a broken leg or broken arm.
Yeah, because you had Mr. Christie falling off a horse for the better part of 3 or 4 episodes.
Yes, I have.
So
Malva, I felt the same way, but then I feel like when you're young and you're in that situation and someone is talking to your ear like, this is what you need to do, and you don't want to do it. But I don't know, because she's dead. I don't know what part she played in there, you know what I'm saying? Because she did throw out the scars and knowing what he looked like naked.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know what part she had to play, but I feel like she was kind of forced into this situation, and that she was coming to Claire to tell her what was going on.
Yeah,
Because Claire would help her.
She might have been look like a lot of people was coming to confess to Claire that morning.
True. A lot of people.
So we're gonna talk about this, because I know you have been dying to talk about this since you started speculating about it. So it comes out. The truth is out. Lizzie and the Beardsley twins are in love.
In love.
And they have been having relations together. Lizzie with both twins
At the same time.
At the same time, the first time, you
Yes.
mentioned that bottle of oil for her malaria. And
they went over.
Let me just say, her describing that whole scenario to Claire, I don't know how she did that with a straight face, because you could see she was trying. It's almost like Lizzie, when she was telling Claire about the fact that she was with both brothers, and that you could tell that she was trying to make herself sound like she regretted it, but then she was like, nope, I knew exactly what I was
I knew
doing.
exactly what I was doing.
And and I enjoyed it, and I felt
every last
safe.
minute.
And they are identical everywhere, in every way. I was like, I don't think Claire wants to know all of that. But that whole scene, I was laughing. I just kept imagining your expression. I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. I mean, started from the beginning. They came over and was rubbing that oil on her. It felt so good. I mean, she didn't need to tell Claire everything, but she sort of did.
Yep. But we find this out because Lizzie is pregnant.
Don't know by who.
And she don't know by who. And this apparently, this has been months since Claire and Jamie were in, where were they? I forgot. Westchester. When they went to Westchester and all this other stuff. So like some months have passed between last episode and this episode. And, Lizzie is like, I don't know who the father is. I know the child's name will be Beardsley. And it was so funny because Jamie's attitude towards all of this got on my nerves in this episode, but I have to remember they're in the 1700s.
Right, the time period. Because even Claire wasn't all like, this is okay, we can work this out. No, she still was looking like, excuse me. But again, her time period, they weren't doing that either.
Not openly.
Not openly.
Not like that. So
not with twins.
Oh, well, yeah. But I just feel like
but she was a little bit more she tolerated it a little bit more. She was a little bit more tolerant. He wasn't.
Because he's thinking from his time, because he doesn't have any other time period to like compare it to. Claire probably has heard of something similar to this or something like this, and so it's probably not as shocking to her. She's probably just like, I can't believe that a child from this era is actually thinking about doing that. But you know, I mean, think about it. Claire, they were in France, and there were some weird things going on with.
Well, they saw that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, even Jamie saw that in the brothel. Yeah, but it's different when little Lizzie on a homestead is doing it,
right?
Then Francesca in the whorehouse. That's a little different,
right.
And then how does this look? Because they're already dealing with the rumors.
They're already dealing with one preg woman scandal.
So here's another pregnant woman scandal.
And then you're gonna add the twins to it. But it still broke my heart when Jamie basically told them, he was like, okay, you're gonna have to marry one of them, and like I said, I hated that attitude because that's not what we do here. But Jamie really is looking out for her.
Right. She does actually, even here, you will actually marry one of them and then have a ceremony with the other, or all three of you guys together. But legally, you're going to marry one. Even now, you're going to marry one legally.
Or technically speaking, now she wouldn't have to marry either.
No, like, but if they do, I mean, the ones that do the lifestyle, they will marry one.
Yeah.
But I felt so bad because she was like, I can't choose.
Right. And so
don't make me do this.
Pick straws. And did you see the heartbroken look on their faces when?
Yes.
Because either way it goes, one of them was going to have to choose. But I wasn't expecting Jamie to say, okay, Josiah, you're going to have to leave until after the baby is born. And the looks on their faces, like they were all like, what?
And then my dumb butt was like, but why? I mean, she married one. Does it really matter that the other one is still right here? That's walking behind them.
That's how I felt too. But
I wouldn't think anything of it. She married one of the twins. I mean, we don't see what they're doing that night.
Right. And like she says, it's none of anybody else's business.
No.
But here's the thing. The last time we saw Lizzie and the twins together and actually we haven't seen her with both twins in a while. We've seen her with Kezzy, and then we've seen her with Josiah, and this was when Claire was testing the ether. but we haven't seen her together with both of them. So we don't know what that looks like when they're all together. But for most people that are in love, especially if it's new love, you really can't hide that. So
and that will be
maybe
the
that's
issue.
what Jamie was thinking. Like, if it's this obvious, I mean, you could see, like, and we've said this from the beginning, the way that she interacted with the Beardsleys, even before we knew that they were a thing. There was a lot of flirtation. You could tell that there was feelings there. So if we could see that with her individually, to see that with her with both of them, those people on the ridge aren't blind. And then you got people like Mrs. Bug, that old busybody, who would
especially when she starts showing, and then one rubs her stomach, then the other one may come over and think they're secretly rubbing her stomach, but
yeah.
But I was like upset, like, he doesn't have to leave. Where is he going to go?
But they sure pulled the okie doke, didn't they?
Oh, yes, they did. I love it. I love it. I'm all for
you have Jamie handfasts Keziah and Lizzie.
And
then later, before Roger and Bree leave to go out of town, she comes with Joe to say, hey, can you guys handfast us, blah, blah, blah. And of course, at this point, Roger and Bree have no clue about what's going on. They don't have any clue what's going on, except for the fact that Lizzie's pregnant and, hey, we need to get married. So when it's found out that, oh, wait, yeah, we handfasted them the other night. Did you now? Wonder how you did that when she already has a husband. That whole thing, I was just so ready to see how that was going to play out. And it did not disappoint, because it's like,
it did, but they were
quick on their children, basically.
Right. And they were quick on their feet. They made sure they wouldn't lay that night. They're like, they don't know anything, so let's go over there and try this on them. We don't know what's going on.
And especially Roger and Bree were getting ready to leave.
Yes.
Like, yeah, we can go do this. They won't have time to talk about it.
Yes. And then the thing about it is, if they didn't even mention it, no one would know.
No one would know.
They just happen to say, oh, yeah, we handfast Lizzie and Josiah. What? I did that already. But it's funny, but it was just so sweet, because they all three of them love each other, and I'm rooting for them. Right. Wrong time period, but I'm rooting for them.
Right. Because like Lizzie said, she was like, we're not harming anybody. This is between us. What happens? This is our business. And it's just, I find it kind of ironic that we're talking about this today, on the day that Roe versus Wade has been overturned, and what that means for women's rights and our autonomy over our bodies and everything. I was like, I love the fact that they put something like that in a show in the 1700s, where you have a woman saying, yeah, you know what? I could say that I felt bad about sleeping with both of them, but no, I enjoyed it. I felt safe. I love them both, and I want to be with them both. And I don't care who the father of this baby is. The baby's name is going to be Beardsley anyway, so what does it matter? We're not hurting anybody. This is our business and nobody else's business. I love the fact that they put that in a show based in the 1700s. But you see, here in 2022, we are still fighting for the right to say, it's my body. I'm going to do what I want to do. Or I'm going to do what is safe for me to do. But that's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole nother podcast. Be honest with you.
But I love that storyline. I'm so glad that they put it in this season, because I was like, please don't make us wait till next season, because Michelle's going to keep asking me questions and I don't know how long we'll be able to hold out. So I'm glad that they put that in here. And now we just got to see where that story is going.
Right. I can't wait.
Right. But I love the fact that, even unintentionally, Lizzie was able to put Claire's mind at ease, because she was like, yeah, I was planning on telling you, but I came to the house and the door was locked. So I was banging, and Claire's like, wait, hold up. That was you? And I know Lizzie, she probably wasn't even thinking, oh, wait a minute, that was the same morning that Malva was here.
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't thinking that
Mm-mm.
because she's so heavy in her grief at that moment because they hadn't figured out what they were going to do. Because literally the conversation with Claire was like, do we really does Josiah really have to go away? That's what she was thinking. Like, yeah, okay, she's married to one of the brothers, but she's about to lose another one until after the baby is born. And you know, who knows how that would have affected that relationship, because if he's gone all that time, he doesn't get to, you know, be there with her and bond with her further as she's carrying the baby. And then who knows, by the time he comes back after the baby is born, maybe she won't feel the same about him, and that'll solve that problem. And maybe that's what Jamie was hoping would happen, you know, in that, because again, like I said, Jamie
Did that work for anybody else? When other people go off, did Claire stop loving Jamie? No. Did Jamie stop loving Claire? No. Brianna stopped. No, nobody has stopped loving each other when they went away for a while.
But technically speaking, none of them were in love with two people at the same time, because even when Claire and Jamie first got together, like, she loved Frank, but I don't think she was in love with him, not in that way, because I don't think she would have been able to fall for Jamie that quickly. But then again, Jamie being Jamie,
I think she could. Yeah, I think you could, because I think I had this conversation with the person I'm related to by marriage about that. I think you can be in love with, I ain't say 3 people, but 2 people. So I can see Claire still be in love with Frank, and it was a different type of love too. Yeah. Versus the love that she had for Jamie. Mm-hmm. But then slowly, I do believe slowly that love for Frank went away. Mm-hmm. It did. Because he wasn't around. So maybe it would work out that one twin stay and the other one goes.
But I don't even think.
But that's kind of heartbreaking though, because that could actually be the father of the baby. You don't know. Is Claire going to do some DNA samples?
I don't even
next season.
I don't even think she should, because at this point, if they're all good with it, why rock that boat?
Well, it wouldn't even matter, because the DNA will still say that they're related.
It's like the child is a Beardsley. Let's just leave it at that. Do we really, you know, at this point, if she's in love with both of them and they are both in love with her and they're all okay with that arrangement, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Mm-hmm. That baby is going to grow up in a whole different environment anyway, because if technically speaking, she's married to both of them. So who knows? Yeah. She may be the first. She may be the first.
and then okay. So what? So what if the Ridge people start talking about this? And
just don't entertain the rumors. Just like Jamie hasn't said anything about Malva when they come at him and they throw the stones and everything. Jamie is just like, if you value your life, you better watch your words carefully. I was like, ooh, come on, Hiram, say something else. Say something else. I was like, I want to see Jamie get mad. It's been a minute since we've seen him really get mad. Come on, say something else. Say something else.
Oh yeah, because what is you're better with names. What is the guy who came up to him talking about Claire, and he was like, before you say another word, you may want to choose your words wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you may want to choose your words wisely.
And you see his ass walked off.
Right. Because my thing is, you can talk all you want to about me, and I'm be like, I know, but don't you dare say anything about Claire.
That's a knack. Yes.
So the same way with Lizzie, we're not entertaining any conversations about their love.
No,
they got their home over there on the side. They're just that different family.
Mm-hmm. And again, like I said, if you see the way that he acts about Claire anyway, why would you even think that he would go to this girl? What can she? I mean, but then again, that time period, they did that all the time.
Yeah,
you know. So,
I
mean, I can understand why you would consider him doing it, but this is Jamie and this is Claire. Ain't no way.
And while she's dying, that's like just disrespectful.
The
But I
ultimate.
find that disrespectful even when people do it currently now. You always hear about people having an affair when their significant other got cancer or doing something. I'm thinking, you couldn't wait.
Now I have heard, like, I do know of a couple of, like, personally I've known of a couple of situations where the sick person was basically like, look,
Go get you some.
go
Yeah, I
be
do know that.
happy, go do this or whatever.
Yeah.
And the person decided to still stay with that person because they're like, okay, I said for better or for worse. And they're like, okay, I understand that. I thank you for taking care of me, but I can't take care of your needs in a certain way. You need to go find somebody to do that,
Right.
because I don't want you miserable and being resentful or being unhappy because you're not being
Right.
taken care of. So, but
I'm talking about those other
again,
couples with a
yeah,
person didn't know.
yeah,
Right. And like Claire's not laying there with her hair halfway cut off. Find you another love.
I told you in the book, she was like, "Oh, that won't do."
Right.
She saw Malcolm
So
touching his
she's
shoulder.
not giving him permission. So y'all already know he wouldn't do that. I mean, he wouldn't do that.
Nope.
But we gotta understand they only have seen him not all seasons like we have, you know. So
But I mean,
clearly,
the fact, well, then again, they came after that. Like I said, the fact that
yeah,
he
they
lit the
don't
cross
know.
and he was like, "We going to find my wife."
Right.
But again, they
They
would
heard
have heard about that.
They
would have
heard
about
stories, but I guess the men
that.
who's talking with their wives are not like him. So they're like, oh yeah, she's a young thing.
They're probably looking at her too.
Right. And that's why it's more feasible that she was messing with someone else who was married, who doesn't have anything to support her. And Alan say, well, you know, he has honor. He has stood by my dad. You know, we know something is not right with that situation with them two. But he has money. He has a great future. And we kind of like him. So this will be a good person to take care of you.
Yeah, we kind of like him. Let's go screw his life up. But I mean,
well, they did. I'm assuming they did respect him. Alan looked like he respected him, you know, after that situation where he stole and Jamie took care of it. So it's just a sad situation.
Yeah, because you took the one person who was like taking care of y'all and standing behind y'all, and you just screwed him over. Like, you were like, oh, okay, you know,
definitely. And
then
we thought
we're gonna screw your life up.
Yeah. And then we thought, okay, we're done with the Browns, and here they come.
Now, I kind of sort of liked this Brown a little bit better, especially better than his brother, because he seems like the one with the intelligence. He seems like the one that thinks before he acts. However, them showing up at the end, I feel like, and you know what, even with that, I feel like that was kind of a calculated move, because he's looking for a reason to come after Jamie.
He is. That's why he is the smarter. He is the smarter brother. He's using everything in his parameters to get back at him. That's legal. That's fair. Okay. You know, we can't get him another way, but we heard his wife committed a crime.
Right.
Let's go get her.
Like, oh, you killed somebody. Yeah, we gotta take you to trial.
But you didn't think about taking Jamie to trial when he killed your brother and all the other people.
But at the same time, he understood why that happened, because your brother went on his land and kidnapped his wife and attacked his daughter. So in the grand scheme of things, especially for back then, it's kind of like an eye for an eye. But still, he felt some kind of way about, okay, well, you could just whoop my brother's ass. You didn't have to kill him. But I mean, again, this is Jamie we're talking about. You fucked with Claire. Right. That's what he's going to do. He's not like the Browns, where they probably don't even care about their women or their wives. Not in that way. So they probably would have just been like, okay, give me my wife back and we'll just call it even.
Nope. He said,
that's not happening.
Kill them all.
So I'm just.
So now it'll be interesting to see. It's going a different direction than I thought it would go into. So
What did
I
you
don't
think
know
it
what's
was
gonna
do?
I don't know. I guess I didn't know that. I mean, like I had no idea that we're going to have this situation with Malva and saying that she was pregnant by Jamie, actually about to have a baby, then murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's blamed on Claire. Now Claire is, they want to arrest Claire. So that's going to take them in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
Because either they're going to have a damn shootout at the house, or the house is set on fire, which kind of goes with the house was supposed to be on fire a while ago. So it's just, where are we going?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
So I guess I just didn't expect it this way. I don't know what I expected. Yes, the Christies, you said it, a storm drama, but I wasn't expecting this. And I guess I wasn't expecting it to be taken out on Claire. I guess I wasn't.
Yeah.
This season had a lot.
And it was only 8 episodes.
Right. It had a lot. We have gone through a lot.
So can you imagine if they put this much in 8 episodes, what they're going to do in next season when we have, I think it's 17 episodes.
17 next season? Wow.
Because this was a shortened season, they're giving us more episodes on the back end.
Okay. And see, now we have one more episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how we're going to leave off. Are we leaving off where I don't think no one else is going to get murdered or killed? Either we leaving off where she actually is arrested and there is actually a trial.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, the Browns rolling up to the ridge, that's not going to sit right with Jamie. Right. You know there's about to be some kind of fight.
Right. And then I don't think that we're going to find out about who the baby daddy is in the next episode.
No.
So
and I mean, and then we have Roger and Brianna leaving as well, because Roger has decided that he is going to be the minister for Fraser's Ridge, and he needs to go and do his coursework, or I don't know what they call it back then.
I don't know, internship.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So he, Bree, and Jemmy have left for a few weeks to go and do this, and of course, this happens. They leave, and then Richard Brown shows up.
Right, and that's why I'm like, okay, so she actually is going to end up being arrested, because it will work with everyone is gone and different things is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we haven't had any closure though with the Christies, because I can't imagine that this is it.
I don't think we'll get that until next season, especially if they're coming to arrest Claire now. That's a lot for them to do in one episode. And like I said, I don't see Jamie just letting them come and take her. So I feel like there's going to be a fight. There's going to be some kind of standoff. And then
will this be when the house, that's what I'm saying, will this be when the house is set on fire? I don't know.
That's the thing. I can't remember if this is when it happens in the book. I want to say it is, but I don't think I'm really gonna have to go back and read though. Right. So
that's what I'm saying. There's so much that can happen, and I doubt that we're gonna get all of that next episode. Yes. So this will continue on to next season.
Mm-hmm. Which they have already started filming. So yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, of course, we already know Claire and Jamie are most likely not dying in that fire. If it is next episode, they're not dying in a fire. So how
we know that.
Yeah. So how that obituary got written, I don't know. Because again, it has been more than 2 years, because Bree and Jemmy is probably like 3 at this point, mm-hmm. 3 or 4 mm-hmm. or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. So if they do take her to trial, like where they're going to take her to trial, they're not going to take her to Brownville. You can't do that because it won't be fair. I don't
No.
know if they'll take her. They won't take her to Westchester or anywhere near River Run because Jocasta got friends in high places.
Yeah, she got that on lock. So that's what I'm saying. So it's like where we're going
if
to be
they even
moved.
take her to trial, because I
Right.
mean, Jamie could kill them all. I mean, we've
That's true.
seen
They may
him.
try to kill her too. So we don't really know
Yeah.
what's about to happen. So it's going to be quite interesting. And then we don't like tying up Lizzie and the twins. I mean, this is just not going to be the last time we hear about this.
Oh,
We
of
got to
course.
see.
Oh, of course.
We got to see their home. Their day-to-day life. I want to see that.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a feeling
Brianna and
tomorrow.
Roger got to come back and find out. Oh, hell, all of this has been happening since we've been gone. So they got to come back.
And I think that will make Brianna and Roger say, okay, you know what? We don't need to try to leave to go anywhere ever again, because when they tried to go back home, when they tried to go back to the Stones, what happened? Claire got kidnapped. When they try to leave right now so Roger can go, get his preaching
trying
on.
to arrest her.
So yeah, that's gonna show in their minds, okay, you know what? We don't need to go anywhere ever again. At least not until we, the stuff that I told you is supposed to happen later on with the new baby and her having a heart issue and them having to go back to the future, because that's the only way they can like really treat it and save her. So
I don't know.
It's a lot. But yeah, Brie and Roger, they don't need to go anywhere else. They just
no, they don't.
They just need to stay put.
Then at some point, I need Will to come back too to see his dad. William.
Yeah.
Well, I need all these things. I need a lot of things to happen.
We are getting him next season because they did announce some casting. So we will be seeing an adult William. I don't know how that's gonna work out with all of this, because like I said, I've read up to book.
It's going, you know what? It's going to have to do, it's going to deal with the war. So at some point we're going to have to get over this Malva and the, the trial, if we have a trial or whatnot. That has to end, and we got to move on to something else.
Yeah, they're going to have to do, I think next season is going to have to be like the remainder of book 5 and then book 6. And I'm only like partway through book 6. So the part where I've read up to, Jamie and adult William, I don't think have met yet or have seen each other yet.
Okay.
The last thing I remember about William, I think he was still young or younger. And I believe him and Bree actually met because they were somewhere. I think William may have been with Lord John, maybe in Westchester.
I thought they met already.
Well, no, they haven't met, but she didn't meet Willie when he was there. I think that was where was she? I don't remember, but I think there was a moment where they were sitting outside talking, and she introduced herself as Jamie's daughter, and then he introduced himself as the 9th Earl of Ellesmere and Lord John's son, and they had a conversation. But she knew who he was, but of course he didn't know who she was. Right. As far as that. So I do remember something like that happening in the books, but I think it would have happened already in this sense. So I'm not sure. But yeah, hopefully we'll see something like that next season. I don't know if this is the quote unquote angry William that we're getting, because again, I have heard that when he is an adult or when he's older, an adult in this world is like 17, 18, that he finds out that Jamie is his father. And I hear that he's none too pleased about it. I haven't gotten to that point in the books yet, so I don't know what brings that about, but we are getting William next season. So that means we should be getting Lord John back.
Yes.
Which is awesome. So yeah, I really want to see how that goes, but they do need to close up this whole Christies business, and maybe they will do that. I would say maybe the first couple of episodes next season, because even though it is a longer season, you don't want them to drag that out.
Right.
So we really don't need them
Because
to
we
drag
can't
that out.
go on for the rest of next season with, oh, she's a murderer and, you know, he's been unfaithful. Okay, we're going to move on, move past that.
Yeah. Just
So,
let's get through it. Let's resolve this and then let's move on to the other stuff.
mhm.
I do know that the stuff with Tom Christie leading up to Claire's arrest and where they're transporting her to, and I can't remember where, but I do know they are, like I said, they're trying to find a town that they can try her in.
Yeah.
So I do know the stuff with Tom Christie gets a little bit interesting in that respect, but I don't remember exactly like the timeline, like what happened. I do remember bits and pieces of something that happens as far as his character goes, some information, and I do think I remember some stuff that happens with Alan, but there's also some other stuff that I just remembered that happens in between all this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if they were going to actually do it in the series, but if they're doing 17 episodes, they probably will. So yeah, we're going to need to read, and you're going to, because I don't know when we're getting season 7. I mean, this is mid 2022 now. We probably won't see season 7 until late 2023, early 2024.
Okay, so we have some time.
We got a lot of time. That's the only thing I hate about these shows, these long ass hiatuses.
I know.
I can't stand it. Oh my God. It's already bad enough when we have to wait a year.
It's
or
bad
like
enough.
Network TV, you know, your season finale is in the spring and you have to wait till the fall. That's long enough. But as long as they don't make us wait another 655 days, we're good.
Yeah. I'm struggling with even our other show, Stranger Things, and we only had 2 weeks, and we got to wait 2 weeks. And I'm like, hurry up, 2 weeks.
It was actually, I think, like a month.
What has it been a month?
Almost.
I thought it came off the end of May.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it'll be a month.
And July 1st is when the new the last 2 episodes come out for season 4. So yeah.
So us waiting for these shows, this is ridiculous.
It is.
Or just give me a few episodes here and another few months and another few episodes.
I don't know. Because I'm one of those, like, I'll binge watch stuff on Netflix and be glad. But then when it's over, it's kind of like, now what do I do?
Yeah. Same
but
here.
Also, I've gotten to where I can't stand waiting week to week for an episode.
I agree. And the sad part in this situation, we could just read the books.
Oh, but that just takes so much more time.
Well, for you it won't, because you're closer to the end. But someone
I don't remember a lot of what happened.
Someone started from the beginning, but I want to know.
I said I was going to start from the beginning with you. So
right. So, starting from the beginning,
so we'll be
I'm
together.
Like, I may finish by the time the next season come out.
Yeah, we might. Because there's 9 of the main books, and then there's a whole separate. Did you know
I'm talking about the 9 main books. I got to get through 9 main books. No separate books, no books on the side, no footnotes. Let me just get through the 9 books.
I know, but did you know that there's a Lord John series?
Yes, I can't.
And then there's a book of short stories that take place at different intervals.
Right. And it's bad enough I'm not going to get any of these books done by Dragon Con when there's a panel about the latest book, which I'm still going to go to and sit in there like, so what are we talking about today, ladies?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to try, because I really want to be able to like actively participate in the conversation. So I think for Dragon Con prep, I'll probably start with An Echo in the Bone, which is book 6. Yes, that's book 6. So I think I'll start with that one and then read up through, so that just so I can participate in the conversation. the book
Okay.
panel, and then I'll go back and start from the beginning. But I don't know. I may decide to start from the beginning. I know that when I did read the first, I would say the first 3 books, because I think I started reading them right before season 3. So the first 2 books, because I already knew most of what happened based on the show, I was able to get through those books pretty quickly, because I was like, okay, well, I want to see what the differences are. And like I said, there are some things that are different as far as how they happen in the book and how they happen on the series. But for the most part, I think the first 2 books, they stick very closely to the books. The show did. And there are a couple of things, of course, there are a couple of things that they probably left out. There are some things that they had to alter, so that it translates on screen better. But they were pretty faithful adaptations from what I remember.
Okay, because when I first started watching the series, I did the little cliff notes for the first 3 books because I wanted to know, okay, where this going? Because at that point, I think I watched all of season 1 and a few episodes of season 2, and I'm like, let me check my cliff notes, aka Wikipedia, and read about what each book was about and the things that happened in the book. But that's still different, so I will go back and start reading it.
Right. So yeah, we'll have to do that.
Yes.
Did we leave off anything for this episode? I think we talked about all the like major stuff.
My major points, her talking to Jamie about what's going on with her, her realizing that she didn't kill her, Malva, talking to Lizzie and giving all that juicy information and them dealing with that.
That was hilarious. I love the fact that she confided in Ian, and the way that Ian kind of got her to confide was the fact that the Beardsleys were supposed to help him try to look,
and they never
for
showed
clues. Up. Yeah, and then she also came into the house and they were like, Lizzie, what have you been doing? And Brianna's picking hay out of her hair. She was like, oh, I was just feeding the horses. Oh, y'all were fooling around in the barn, huh? Like just all out there in the open where anybody could have come by to see. I mean, let's have some, I don't know. I mean,
they're
Jamie
young
and Claire do it, so
yes, they do. And this is what partly got them in trouble. Because if she didn't have any evidence, if they had stayed in the bedroom, she wouldn't have had any evidence Claire to help support her claim.
Claire should have just waited for him to come in the house.
But they don't wait.
No, you got to go wherever the passion takes you.
Right. And I love it. Because they're our age. I love it. Anywhere you want to go. People could walk in. Who cares? That's his wife.
Yeah, but Lizzie and the twins should have known better. That was because if they would have gotten caught, let's say by someone other than Jamie, Claire, Ian, any of those, there would have been hell to pay. There would have been hell to pay. So
yeah. So what else did that and Roger and Bree leaving?
I miss seeing Fergus and Marsley.
I do too. And so at some point, again, I'm going to say that they need to tell Marsley what is going on.
And Fergus doesn't know.
I forgot about him too. Both of them at some point.
Maybe that'll happen in the books. Maybe if we read, we'll see that happens in the
that
books.
Happened in the books. But I think we have covered the major points.
So now we just got to get through this last episode.
See the funeral. We talked about the funeral.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, there's something sketchy about Alan and his behavior.
Off episode, I did say that when watching it, I'm like, it was just strange. I mean, let Claire pick the baby up. You were concerned about your sister, but you acted more angry than Christie, even though Christie probably believes she's just like a mama. She's just like a mama.
Saw what he said when they got there. He was like, so what are we going to do about this? We can't bury a whore in hallowed ground. I was like, excuse me, this is still not only your daughter, this is your dead daughter you're talking about. That was killed. Can you have a little bit more respect? Because if you notice, aside from him, he showed no sadness, no
None.
grief. He was
None.
more concerned about, so in the matter of the way that she died, was it quick? Did she have time to beg God for forgiveness? Excuse me? I
Yeah.
seriously think the last thing she was thinking while her throat was getting cut was, oh God, please forgive me for getting pregnant out of wedlock. He showed no emotion. That's the only reason why I say, even though I don't think it's within him because of the type of person we've been shown him, to be, but still his reaction towards her doesn't quite compute either. Like, this is, even though you may have had some feelings about the fact that she may not biologically have been your daughter, this is the child that you raised.
He showed,
and she just got brutally murdered. And not only that, you're looking at her body. Show some emotion.
It's like he's detached, but he's been detached since she said that Jamie was the father. Like, he wasn't angry, or it was like, I'm just here. You know what I'm saying? They forced me to come over here to tell you that you're the father of this baby and you got to do something about it.
But he didn't know that it was Jamie before they walked in the house.
Right, but he showed nothing. All this other stuff that you're so quick to spit out things at Jamie and Claire, but here you're just.
I feel like he didn't have a reaction about that because he probably realized that Jamie wasn't the father.
Yeah, true that.
But of course,
he knows he's not, because he knows what Jamie is like. So,
Right. So
but again,
I feel like he may have just gone along with it because it's his daughter and it's his family. But, and of course, he'll say a couple of things, but like I said, Jamie, every time it was mentioned to him by one of the Christies, he basically told them, no, that's not true. No, so she's a liar.
So all of a sudden, Alan is the one who has all these feelings, and because you coerce her to say, you know who the father is, and y'all pinned it on Jamie. You upset now that whatever things y'all was doing, your sister now is dead.
Yeah, I have a strong feeling Alan has something to do with all of that. I don't know if I want to say that he killed her, but I have a feeling that he had a hand or maybe some other body part invested in that whole story.
Because you can tell by his reaction.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying? Because he acting like Ian is all like, what do I need to do? Even in the beginning, do I need to marry her? You feeling some type of way because you actually had sex with her. And that's your sister. But I don't know. It was strange with him in that
sister, cousin, maybe, or
funeral. I don't know. So we'll see.
I don't know if we'll see in the next episode, though.
No, but I want to know.
I know.
I want to know.
I have a feeling the conclusion to that story is going to take more than one episode. I would say
probably
maybe. I would say if it goes into next season, maybe the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say 3.
All I know, we got to know who the murderer is, because you are causing all these problems and I need you to pay. So, yes, we will find out next season.
I mean, I wouldn't have put it past Richard Brown, because he could have done that and been like, oh, we'll pin it on her, and then that way I can come and arrest her. But of course, he would have. I don't think he would have done that. He wouldn't have snuck onto Fraser's Ridge. And why would he just pick like this random girl?
Well, maybe because one of his sons or nephews got involved with this girl.
They would have had to have been on the ridge, though, and I don't think any of them would have chanced coming to the ridge after.
Not even to like hunt.
Jamie killed their uncle. I don't think so.
Okay. Love can find a way. I don't know.
I know, but I think on the ridge, even with the fisher folk, I feel like if you see somebody that's unfamiliar, you would probably say something about it, because you don't know what that person is doing there and why they're there. They could be there for nefarious reasons. They could be there, like you said, Malva was a pretty she was a pretty young girl, and we don't know how many other young girls are on that settlement.
Mm-hmm.
But young men in that time, they're looking for two reasons. They're looking at a girl because they're trying to figure out who they're going to snatch as a wife, or they're trying to figure out who they're going to snatch for some unsavory purposes.
Right.
So I feel like they would have paid attention to somebody unfamiliar, because right now, if they're not the Fisher folk, if they're not the Scottish people, Jamie's people, then who are they? Why?
And then she did say it was someone she trusted, so she knew them. Mm-hmm. So it's between both groups, right? Pretty much.
And probably not even the Scottish, because I think the Fisher folk kind of stayed on their side of Fraser's Ridge, and the Scottish people stay on the other side. But of course, gossip travels. Gossip doesn't care about boundaries, especially when you have people like Miss Bug.
Nope.
You saw the way she came in, and she was like, Hiram Crombie wants to know what's going on. He's been poking about the garden. He wants to see the lass's body for herself. And are you sure you didn't kill her? She came in here and said the things about Mr. Fraser in the front of the church. Are you sure you weren't angry enough? I was like, can somebody please slap her? Like, I need Claire to slap her. But of course, that would have just given into that whole, she probably got angry enough to kill her. But let me tell you, Mrs. Bug, I think she's going to be the next chaos on the ridge. If I remember some of the story correctly, there's going to be some stuff with her going on.
Okay, because I'm about to say who's the next person? Because there's always somebody.
I think it may have to do with the bugs, especially because we've been seeing more of them this season.
Yeah, we have.
And then, like in this episode, you had Brianna talking about Jemmy overhearing Mr. Bug talking about ghosts and having unfinished business, and then apparently mentioning Claire, because Jemmy was like, okay, so is Grammy gonna turn me into a ghost too? I was like, if I was Roger, right then and there, once I heard that, I would have went and handled my business. I know Roger's not a fighter, but still, even with the way that he approached Mr. Bug, and he was like, yeah, so you've been saying some things about ghosts that Jemmy overheard. And Mr. Bug's response was, well, you can't shelter him forever. Yeah, I have a feeling they're about to be the next problem makers, because you went from barely seeing them in season 4. We saw them like once here, once there, and then
it's almost every episode you see a little bit of them. So
and Mrs. Bug is starting to get more and more vocal. She's starting to have more and more lines. She's starting to kind of put her.
She don't need to be working inside the house. Right. She doesn't need to be working.
A busybody. Yeah.
She doesn't need to be working inside the house.
Nope.
She can't be trusted.
Nope. But I have a feeling that, I think the bugs are about to be, for next season, I think they're going to be dealing with that part of the story, which is going to be interesting. You'll see when you get to it. Because when I read it in the books, I was like, damn, this came out of left field. What? It was really interesting. So I have a feeling that's probably what we'll see next season. I don't think it's going to be on the level of Malva Christie.
Yeah, but the bugs can cause problems in other ways that deals with the war that can have some heavy consequences.
You know
what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's when you say that, that's what my mind is going to, because the keepers of the house, they do see things. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they may not know exactly what's going on, but if they go and talk to other people,
right,
and those other people can interpret it a different way, which can cause some issues, especially dealing with the war and their position.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna be dealing with any unwanted pregnancies with the bugs, though. So there's that.
No, Mrs. Bug not gonna come out and say me and Jamie has had an affair.
No, that would never happen, because do you see Jamie tolerates Mrs. Bug. I don't think he particularly cares for her because of her gossipy nature. Mm-hmm. He tolerates her because every time she comes in the room, you can see he's looking like, will she just shut up? he just has that look on his face. It's not obvious, but it's very subtle. Like, oh Lord, what is she coming to say now? Like, oh, what? Go bake something. Go do something. Go, I don't know.
Retire them.
They just
let Lizzie run the house.
I mean, well, you know, Lizzie gonna be running her own house. But I mean, you know what? I do like this part of it though, because that means that she and Brianna are probably close in their pregnancies, because she said she's a few months, and we know Brianna is probably right in the second trimester, because what was it that she told Roger and Claire? She said, I wanted to be sure it was real before I said anything. You know, for us, that's like, I want to make sure that that it's safe, because a lot of women, when they miscarry, it's usually in the first trimester.
Right.
So
you always want to wait that 12 weeks. So
right before they start announcing it to people, to like, quote unquote, not jinx it or anything. So that's what I like about it, because that means that Lizzie and Brianna, they will be raising children together. Their kids will have each other to play with, because now that Marcelly's gone, Jemmy's all by himself on the ridge. As far as playmates, he doesn't have anybody to play with. So at least these new babies will have someone to keep each other company, and Bree and Lizzie can further bond. It's going to be interesting though, these conversations they're about to have.
Imagine how, see, my mind went to the left. Imagine how the birthing room is going to be in Claire's operation if they try to do what Fergus did, you know? I'm just saying.
Imagine it, them both trying to be in the birthing room, period. Even if they don't try to do what Fergus does, if they just want to both be there to see the baby born, how is that gonna like, what are they gonna do? Because is Claire really gonna tell them no?
No, but
Jamie might try, but Claire might be like, okay, well, they can both be in here to support her. But then if that information gets out, people are going to think that's weird. And it's just, I don't know. I don't like the 1700s. There's too many stupid rules.
Well, no, the one twin is there to support his brother.
Yeah, but usually not in the birthing room.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just helping them out.
Because, you know, back then, they didn't even really allow the fathers to be in the same room.
No.
So, you know, Claire, of course, let Fergus. Well, no, because I think even when Marcelly was having the baby, Fergus was out in the room with
he was
in
another room, but then he was called in to help with the situation.
But then he left back out when she was actually in active labor, because remember, Claire was holding Henri Christian, and then Fergus came into the room to check on Marcelly first, and then to see the baby.
Right.
So,
and he would be the only one who would actually stay, because he has seen all of it. He has. Growing up, he has seen all type of form of childbirth.
That is true. So, that is true.
You know, so he's
being
like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So
okay.
But yeah, those will be some interesting conversations. That's going to be interesting. I just want to see how they're going to write that story, how they're going to write Lizzie and the twins, especially knowing that she's like handfast to both now. Like, how are you going to do that? Is she going to actually marry one of them and still be like how do you do that in 17?
Yeah. How would Roger perform the ceremony? Do you two take Lizzie as your wife? Do you take them too as your husband? Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
We do.
And yeah, they'll be like, yes, we do. All together.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. So one more episode, and then we're on hiatus for Outlander. When we do come back for Outlander, we probably will be doing Outlander on a different podcast, because we are starting a new one that's going to be kind of separate from Fandom Hybrid. It'll still be under the same umbrella, but we wanted a separate forum to talk about time traveling shows. Like, we are planning to cover The Time Traveler's Wife, that's currently showing on HBO Max. I still need to get into Bridgerton, so we're going to cover like the shows that deal with period pieces. We may talk about some Downton Abbey here and there, and then some other things. So be on the lookout for that coming in the next couple of weeks. But for our Outlander discussions, we will finish that here on Fandom Hybrid with episode 8 of season
Yes.
6. So that will be coming up soon as well. But for now, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel and listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.